Hello, my name is Alison, and I have a lot to say about movies. From lists and stories to celebrities I love to look at and those who drive me crazy. Join me as I talk about whatever's on my mind at the moment. Welcome to Say Anything with Alison. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Say Anything with Alison. I am Alison. Recently I went on a family vacation to Lake Lure. You have to say it like that too. Lake Lure, North Carolina. Now, it would be awesome if anybody listening knew the significance behind Lake Lure and what movie was filmed there. But considering not a lot of people probably even listen to this, let alone know that, I'm just going to tell you, spoiler alert. So Lake Lure was where a lot of the scenes from Dirty Dancing were filmed, specifically the lake scene with the lift and the stairs where she danced up and down the stairs as she was practicing for the tango. Where am I going with this, you might ask? Well, I will tell you. So I watched Dirty Dancing for the 100th time while on vacation. And I realized how much I love musical scenes, not necessarily musicals. I do like musicals, but I like when there's a fun singing or dancing scene in film. And I thought I would do a list of my favorite or memorable either musical dance scene in a movie or just a musical scene. So it doesn't necessarily mean they have to dance, but they're singing and doing whatever with their mouths. Their, words are coming out. So as I was making my list, it turned out that it was way more than 10. So I'm not even going to do a top 10 list. I'm just going to talk about my favorites in no particular order because I can't really pick a favorite. I mean, I really, really love a lot of these movies, but I can't just choose a favorite because they're all so different. So let us begin. So speaking of Dirty Dancing, let's just go ahead and get that one out of the way. Dirty Dancing has many memorable dance scenes. I guess most people would say the final scene when they're closing down for the summer and Johnny, played by Patrick Swayze, comes back after being fired from the entertainment staff, and he comes back and does one last dance with Baby, played by Jennifer Grey, and they dance to I've Had the Time of My Life. Perfect scene. She finally nails the lift. Great. So I really love that, and I also love when they are dancing or practicing on the large tree log that has fallen over. That's a fun scene too. So overall, that movie has just a lot of fun dancing and music scenes. So that made my list. And I will warn you, this is a very girly list, and I'm so sorry because almost every movie on here is just as girly can be. So, I don't think you're going to see a lot of, well, I don't know. Maybe you could say that a lot of musicals or movies with dance or songs, scenes are kind of girly, I guess. You're not going to see like Rocky have like a dance breakdown scene. I don't know, but I also didn't go for like really old musicals like Singing in the Rain and West Side Story and Funny Girl. I've watched most of those, but those aren't ones that I've watched over and over again. I'm not like your classic musical person. I think the oldest one I have in here is, there's two old ones. So, but they're not really that old, I guess. I don't know. But I am going to warn you, these are very girly. That brings me to, I guess, one of my old movies. The oldest on my list is my beloved Sound of Music. Sound of Music, again, I cannot choose my favorite musical scene. But if I had to, gun to the head, I guess I would choose Do Re Mi. It's just a fun song, a fun scene where they're out and about in Austria going around the town, and she's just having so much fun teaching the kids how to sing. I love it. I love that. I also love Favorite Things. I love I Am 16 Going on 17 when they're dancing around the greenhouse. I guess it's like a greenhouse gazebo. I don't know. When I was little, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. This girl is just dancing around with her, 18-year-old, actually he was 17 going on 18, boyfriend person. And they were just dancing around this glass windowed gazebo and it started raining. I don't know. I just thought it was like the most romantic, cool thing ever. It's really lame, I guess, but I don't know. Super cool when you're 9. So I really like that one. And I also love the puppet scene where they put on this puppet play and with those creepy puppets and the goat, the yodelah-hee-hoo. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love that scene so much. And when my favorite artist Gwen Stefani sampled that on one of her songs because Sound of Music is her favorite movie, I just thought it was genius and it was just so good. So yeah, Sound of Music, of course, makes my list. I just can't pick one definitive song or musical scene in there because they're all good. Next, I am going to talk about Breakfast Club. So the detention scene in the Breakfast Club, that was a great scene. They clearly are, it's like they're rebelling because they're in detention. And I mean, who else wanted to get up and dance and do stuff in detention? I mean, they made it look cool. And how cool was that library where it was like 2 stories and they could, hop up on the banister on the second floor and dance? I mean, those dances were, the moves were just, they were bad, but they were totally 80s. And it was fun. It's a good break in that movie. It's such a brilliant, serious film. That little scene where they just kind of let go and they start to become kind of friends and talk about, what's going to happen come Monday morning. Are they still going to talk to each other? It was as a good way to break up the seriousness and the tension of that film, I guess. I mean, that film had a lot of funny moments, but it's a very serious topic, at least I think. So, yeah, that obviously made my list, and there's only one musical scene really in there to talk about, so I don't have to go through many. Next is going to be Pulp Fiction. Obviously, when they go to Jackrabbit Slim's and Mia Wallace forces Vincent Vega to join her in the dance competition. And they get up on the dance floor and they dance to, what is that song? You guys are probably yelling it at me. Always Can Tell? The old folks, they always can tell. Who's that? Chuck Berry? I don't know. I'll have to look it up and I'll let you know at the end of this. But it was just so funny to see him up there after being in Saturday Night Fever in Greece, and he's doing these goofy moves and they were really goofy and really bad, but they took him so seriously and it was just a fun scene and they won. And just like she said they were going to do, she told him, you're going to go up there and you're going to win me that trophy, or basically I'm going to tell my husband that you won't. So do it. So that was a fun scene. My next one isn't a dance scene, but it's a musical scene, and that is in Top Gun when they are singing in the bar. I guess it's a bar, right? It was a bar with it was a fancy bar with a piano. And that's when they sing to You've Lost That Loving Feeling. It's just one of those songs where everybody can sing to, and it was a great scene. And you can also talk about the next movie, the sequel, Top Gun Maverick, and they did a similar scene where Goose's son Rooster played on the piano, and they sang a different song, but it was still a good scene, but not as good as the original, not as good as Top Gun with You Lost That Loving Feeling. Everybody wants to sing along to that song. Just like that other song that everybody sings to at the Boston Red Sox games that I can't stand, Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. I hate that song so much. It just it's like nails on the chalkboard for me. But people love singing to that song, and they love singing to You've Lost That Loving Feeling. It's like those should both be on the playlist for songs that turn up white people. And that is a real playlist. If you go to like Pandora or Spotify, you will be able to see what's on there. And spoiler alert, Journey is one of the main ones on there. So yeah, I don't know. I looked it up, and it is Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry, You Never Can Tell. See, I was close. I knew I'd get there eventually. Next, I have Flashdance on my list. Flashdance, kind of, no, it's not really a musical, but it's got a lot of musical numbers, right? Music numbers, even though most of them are in a strip club. But let me tell you, when Jennifer Beals does that strip club, when she's not really taking off her clothes, so she's like more like a burlesque dancer. I don't know. But when she does that scene with the water on the chair, I mean, that's a classic scene, and it's good. And you can also add on the final scene in that movie when she is becoming all serious and she's auditioning to be in the to go to the ballet school or be a part of, I don't know what that was. I think it was like a ballet school. And she dances to What a Feeling by Irene Cara. And she stumbles at first, and she asks if she can do it again. And then she does it. I mean, what little girl, when watching that movie about a strip club or a stripper during the night and welder during the day, didn't want to reenact that scene? Am I right, ladies? And then you have my beloved Paula Abdul. She redid the scene at the end. She kind of made it her own in Cold Hearted Snake in like the late 80s. She did her own little version of that Flashdance theme or song scene. So it's clearly iconic, and it's just good. So I like that with the little leg warmers on her legs. Just so much 80s, just dripping with 80s. What's also dripping, but not in the 80s, is next on my list, and that is Magic Mike. And we're not dripping 80s, but we're dripping sweat and all other kinds of goodness, because the first Magic Mike movie with Channing Tatum, when he strips to Genuine's pony, is chef's kiss. I mean, Channing Tatum, not a great actor. He's fine, His face isn't even that hot. I mean, I'd much rather have Ryan Reynolds' face on it, but his body for that movie was just sick. It was just ridiculous. And he just embodied this hip hop dancer. He embodied the type of guy that you would want to see if you went to a sleazy male review. So it was just a memorable scene in that movie. And I don't really recall anything else in that movie but that. So I guess they hit the mark on that, right? So that was good. Good. What wasn't good was Magic Mike 2, but we won't talk about that. Next, we have Chicago. Chicago is a great, great musical. I don't know why I've always loved this musical so much. I've never seen it, live on stage, but I just love the whole concept and the story. And my favorite musical number of that movie is Cell Block Tango. The movie was good. The casting was really good. I know so many people have played like Roxy Hart in the stage production, but Renee Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones and Richard Gere, they all did such a good job, and I just loved that number. It was just, they talked about what every person or every woman did to get into jail, and I don't know, it was just really cool, and it was jazzy and cha-cha-cha. I don't know, I really liked it. I need to watch that movie again. It was good. Next is Beauty and the Beast. Pretty much one of my favorite Disney movies. And you can never go wrong with a Disney song, and let alone one where cutlery and dishes sing to you about food. We've already talked about how much I love food, right? So Beauty and the Beast, Be Our Guest is one of the greatest songs ever written for a Disney movie. I know almost every word. I love it. I will just burst out and sing it sometimes when I'm cooking. Um, Beloved Angela Lansbury just recently passed away. She was Mrs. Potts. Oh, it's just such a good song. And it's so cute the way they talk about all the food they're going to make and how it's so much funny. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes. And the dishes come out and sing. I just love it. It just makes me happy. It puts a smile on my face, and you can't help but kind of like, wiggle around with joy. You have to have a smile on your face. A lot of the songs in Beauty and the Beast are good, though. I love Gaston. I love that song. I love the song in the beginning when Belle is walking around town. It's just such a good movie with good lyrics, I guess, for a Disney movie. I mean, most Disney movies have cute songs. Look at Frozen. Frozen, I've talked about this before. I wasn't a fan of Frozen, but the songs, you can't deny the music. You can't deny the music of that movie about stupid Olaf. But yeah, so be Our Guest is just definitely had to make my list. Another one that had to make my list is Shag. And I know most of you have never heard this movie. However, if you have heard one of my Real Stories from the Isles, I spoke about Shag, my love for this movie, my love for the actresses and the dancing and the 50s and 60s. I love that era so much. There is a lot of dancing in this movie, but the pivotal scene is the end of the movie where they finally, Pudge, one of the girls, she finally gets to put all of her practice on display, and she joins the shag competition with her boyfriend that she met, and they finally shag. And you hadn't really seen a lot of shagging. You've seen a lot of like kind of dirty shagging and just other type of dancing in the shag pavilion, but we hadn't seen one of the main characters dance the name of the type of dance that this movie is named after. And you finally got to see them dance together, and it was so cute, and it was such a good song. I have a playlist on Spotify, that's called Shag Music, because it's all the music from that movie. And one of the best songs on there is the song at the end of the film when they enter the competition. So it's a really fun movie, and I wish more people would give it love. But I gave it love because it's on my list. The song, by the way, is called Stagger Lee by Lloyd Price. We've probably never heard of it, but it's a super fun song. Next, another super fun song was in a movie called My Best Friend's Wedding. And this is where, now obviously this doesn't have a lot of musical scenes at all, but when they were at one of the dinners, was it the rehearsal dinner? It might have been, I don't remember, but they all busted out singing Say a Little Prayer for You by Dionne Warwick. And they were horrible. They were horrible singers. Cameron Diaz was singing way off key, and those two twin sisters were just really bad. I'm just picturing them now with their ugly outfits, and they were just like, singing that part where they're like, I say a little prayer for you. And then they were just going forever and never. And they're all moving around, and they're at a dinner table, and Julia Roberts looks mortified, but it's such a funny movie, funny scene. Not as funny as a musical number in the movie The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston. Not a great movie, kind of depressing and sad. However, Jennifer Aniston's character has a brother who is part of an a cappella group, and it's called the Tone. I'm sorry, I have to laugh. It's called the Tone Rangers, and they they have this scene, it's a dinner scene, and they just start, singing just like in, I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I know he's so funny, and he's in a lot of things. Oh, John Michael Higgins. Okay. So John Michael Higgins plays the guy in the Tone Rangers group. and they sing Yes's song "Owner of a Lonely Heart." But because it's an a cappella group, I mean, what a hard band and hard song to sing, right? It's a band that uses a lot of like keyboard noises and synthesizer noises, like pows and bangs. And he's doing all that with his mouth. And he's like, pow. It's so funny. It's one of those scenes where if you're feeling down in the dumps, just watch it because it'll make you giggle. And you can see the talent in John Michael Higgins just in that like 5-minute clip alone. So you don't have to watch the movie The Breakup, but just watch that scene. It's super funny. Okay, I got about 4 left, and these are, I guess you could say these would be like my top 4 that make me happy. My next one is Muppets Take Manhattan. Obviously, this is riddled with musical numbers, but my favorite is the finale in Muppets Take Manhattan when they put on the actual play that they went to New York to put on. You see everything. They sing how they're going to get married, and then they're shopping for a wedding dress, and the bears come out and the chickens, and oh, it's so funny. Every single Muppet is in this particular scene, or they're in the church because they're watching Piggy and Kermit get married. And they're all just singing together, how you make me happy when skies are gray. It's just such a fun movie. So it's my favorite Muppet movie. And it's my favorite song. I know a lot of people like Rainbow Connection, but I don't like Kermit. He's annoying. In the original Muppet movie, what is that main song? I know my podcast people are yelling at me because I don't know if you've heard our podcast a lot, but they go on this like Muppet tangent constantly. And they both love Muppets a lot, and they sound like them and stuff. Yeah. What is that song? Something, na, 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 right where I belong. Yeah. So that's a good song, but it's just not my favorite. I like the wedding song from Muppets Take Manhattan. So that's a favorite of mine. Next I have Beetlejuice. The dinner scene when they're singing at the dinner scene when they're trying to scare everybody, and the shrimp and all that. It's just, I don't know. It is one of my favorite scenes ever. I actually reenacted this at work before my work shut down due to COVID. Thanks, COVID. We did a lot of fun activities, and I played Catherine O'Hara, and we sat at a table in the lunchroom, and we broke out in a like a flash mob style with Deo, and we learned the entire scene. I think I watched that scene probably 30 times a day for a week as we learned the dance, and it's just so funny. I love it. I love it. I love that the shrimp goes up and eats their face. And I love how they move around and the napkins float around. It's just a fun song. If you haven't seen Beetlejuice, what's wrong with you? All right. My last 2 is going to be Grease, which is one of my favorite movies ever. And the whole movie is obviously a musical, and it's wonderful. Every number is great. Even Stockard Channing's a solo number that nobody seems to like. And when I watch this with people in the past, they've sped up, they like fast forward this scene. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Give Stockard / Rizzo some love. What's the worst thing I could do? That's a great song. But I'm choosing, oh man, I was going to say Summer Nights, but I'm not going to choose that. I think I'm going to, maybe I'll choose the final one. Oh my gosh. We Go Together, maybe I'd say. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with Summer Nights because that's the opening scene, and they're talking about each other, and they're bopping around the lunchroom and, bopping around outside. They're bopping around, and it's just good. But then you also have Beauty School Dropout and Grease Lightning, and You're the One That I Want. It is hands down the best musical ever made. And I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Not to be not to be confused with my other favorite musical ever made, because I guess I have two. Grease is one from my childhood, and it's a very old movie, and a newer movie that is my favorite musical after Grease is La La Land. And if I have to pick a song from La La Land, that's hard. But the very first opening scene with Another Day of Sun, when you have the backup on the expressway and everybody's getting out of their car, dancing around. What a phenomenal way to start off a movie. And that cinematography was great. The dancing was great. The song was great. I was like, holy crap, I'm in for a really fun time. I love it, love it, love it. And then I guess the Lovely Night song, Lovely Night song, when they have their first kind of date type thing and they're dancing around. I love that too. This movie is heartbreaking. I cry every time I watch it. The acting is superb, and the music numbers and the lyrics are just, they blew me away. So I love everything about this movie, but the musical scenes are so good because of the color pops and the cinematography and where they filmed it in LA. It's just, I don't know, the whole thing is magical. So I have to give love to La La Land and Grease as my tops. Even though I told you guys that this was in no particular order, I lied about the last few. So those are my favorite musical numbers in a movie, or musicals, or dance scenes, because there were some dances too. What are yours? What did I leave out? Let me know in the comments. And, I probably forgot a lot of them. So help me remember some that I failed to give love. Thanks for listening. And I will talk to you later when I come back and do another list or ramble. And remember to always celebrate cinema. Bye.